Asia Production 250cc is a go, and it's a solid start from Takahira. Takahira comes over to the pit lane side to try to take advantage into the first corner. Kritipat's also made a solid start, and he's taken Chandra Herwaman with him as well. Indeed, it is Kritipat who's got off to a very good start and hits the first corner first, Barry Russell.
Yeah, good start from Kritipat. I think he thought it was going to be easier in this championship than it is turning out for him. So I think he's adjusted himself, raised his game a bit, and he'll be looking for a win here because he's really fancied as a potential champion back home in Thailand.
I have to say, everybody's got away nice and clean. Coming through there, Chao Vietnam, bike number 65. Crashed out yesterday, Chao Vietnam. He had a decent time in Buram, including one podium. He'll be hoping to build on that. He's become a regular near the top of the standings in the AP250 class.
Yeah, let's just take a look at where RB is, because he is such a classy rider. Just trying to monitor his tactics a little bit will be good. He's down there in about P5 at the moment.
Yes, P6 I think I just saw him flash through in for Astra Honda. Behind Izam Iqbal, who was a very popular P3 yesterday. And again, it's another good start from Rich Takahira for TY Antares. Good to see. Oh, and sliding off is the Cardinals racer.
Fares Putra down. That's disappointing. He's been getting better and better on that Cardinals factory Yamaha. But his day is done early in this race. Full Cap Vietnam. And Izam Iqbal getting up close and personal. There's a little break at the front there.
Kritipat is the man who's leading it, and he's taken Takahira along with him. And Murabil Vitoni, as we saw yesterday, Murabil can be quick. He stepped up from the underbones for this season, Murabil Vitoni. And he's stepping up very, very nicely. He's 6th in the championship standing. He's had 2 P4s in Buram and was in contention for a long time yesterday until he had a problem on the final turn.
Yeah, he slips through into P2, just ahead of Reach Takahira as they went through turn 15.
8 laps of the circuits as they complete the first lap, and it is 39 Kritipat alongside Murabil Vitoni and Reach Takahira. In fact, Takahira decides he wants the inside line, and it's going to be Murabil Vitoni who goes into the lead. Izam in 4, Chao Vietnam in 5, and the man we've all got to look out for, Fadila Arbi, in P6 on bike number 93.
Yeah, he'll have an eye on this attempted breakaway at the front. New riders to this championship in that attempted breakaway group. They're being caught now by Izam Iqbal for Victor Racing.
Chao Vietnam's dropped down a couple of places in very rapid time. Murabil drops down to P3 as Itai Kritipat retakes the lead. Nice shot coming straight towards the camera.
Yeah, so I'm just looking for the...
Is that Izam joining the front 3? Indeed it is. Izam Iqbal, bike 144. Great to see Victor Racing. Good to see the privateers getting close to the manufacturers.
Yeah, it is, as you said yesterday, it was a popular podium for Victor Racing in the capable hands of Izam Iqbal.
Little look over the shoulder there from Izam. Long way to go. There's, oh, another problem. It's not been a great week for Chandra.
Yeah, a really quick rider, but it hasn't worked out for him this weekend, unfortunately.
Chandra Herwaman, he had a P2 in Buram. He'll only go home from this weekend with a single point. That was for P15 yesterday, and he's out of the race early today. And out of contention, the men at the front continue to be Kritipat. And 124 coming around the outside, Izam Iqbal and Murabil Vitoni. Also joining in the fun, Galang Hendra's got himself nice and close to the front, bike number 56, the experienced Indonesian on the Yamaha BF Yamalube Akai Jaya MBKW2 racing team.
Yep, every one of those sponsors deserved that. because it's really working out well for Galang, running his own team, which is such a hard thing to do.
Here's Iqbal. Late onto the brakes, but able to hold it into turn number 1.
Still in P6 is Fadila Arbi for Astra Honda, but just a little bit closer to the front. And at the front, Kritapat has just taken over from Kritapat.
Last lap time, 2:23.5 for Izam Iqbal. That's the fastest on the circuit so far, hitting speeds into the mid 190s.
And it's Takahira taking the lead. He's got Izam in his wheel tracks.
He's on the Yamaha. I want to see how Chao Vietnam is going. Chao Vietnam still going backwards. The Vietnamese on the Honda, bike number 65. You just see him edging out. I'm wondering whether he made a mistake that caused him to be overtaken, or he's got engine problems. Nonetheless, no problems at the moment for Rich Takahira, the Japanese, who was in the TBS One Make Championship last year. Stepped up very, very nicely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Irfan Ardiansha, the number 16 on the SEK machine, just staying in touch with that Group 2, making sure that he doesn't lose too much ground in these early stages.
He's a favourite of yours, Irfan, isn't he?
I like his aggressive style. He's a rider that brings action.
That's what we like. And at the moment, it is the TY Antares of Rich Takahira who is leading the way, but less than a second separating 1 from 7. Indeed, Michael 1 from 8 isn't too far behind either. No chance to get away. Who's that in? Yeah, Heikel, bike number 21. Local Malaysian who, Irfan Heikel for the NWN SCK Honda racing team.
Yeah, 2 Irfans in that SCK outfit in this class, the AP250 class.
The Irfan brothers.
Yeah, a formidable pair of Irfans indeed.
Leading through is Izam Iqbal. 3 laps completed. Galang Hendra makes his move, bike 56. Like the work of Galang. Rather a little nose around the outside. Decided, no, let's not take too many risks at this stage. Particularly on that tricky first corner. You get the first corner right, and it can propel you, slingshot you into a very fast lap. You get it wrong, and it has a disproportionate amount of damage on your lap times.
Yeah, it's AP250 field. AP250s are always super competitive, but this field has a completely different look to what we had last year. There's riders have come in, riders have gone out.
First position, Galang Hendra. Exactly what you said. It makes Fadila's performance even the more remarkable. 3 wins out of 3 in such a competitive field. As you're seeing, you've got how many within a second of each other? Six races, yeah. 7 races within a second, including Fadila Arbin Aditama, bike number 93. We've not mentioned him, but there he is, just tucked in at the back of that leading group in perfect position. In the far distance, the green Kawasaki livery of Andy Mohammed Fadli. And once again, the Kawasaki's struggling with the pace.
Yeah, Irfan Ardiansha looking back to his aggressive self there, the number 16 SCK machine up into 5th, and meanwhile Kritapat, the early leader, has slipped down this group, so he's finding the pace pretty hot.
Galang Hendra leads the way from Malaysia's favourite, Izam Iqbal. Galang, such an experienced racer, of course. This time they hogged the grandstand. I think they'll be looking at what the best lines are down this final straight, and what line you can take into this final corner, just to get yourself a good drive out into the home straight. Galang Hendra is taken out by Murabul Vitoni and Izam Iqbal.
And I'll tell you what, Gao Jiang for Team One for All is getting himself onto the back of this group. Had a really good P9 yesterday.
Yeah, very good 7 points for the Chinese.
And as we're talking about these new riders, new names in this AP250 class, he's one that's coming good too. And Davina Brittani for Astra Honda is just getting up onto the back of Gao Jiang too.
That is Daniel Shami for Uma Racing. This group, it was 7 inside a second. It's well, it's 13 inside 2 seconds, which includes Gao Jiang. Midway point of this race. Galang Hendra, who was leading, is now down in P8. I mentioned yesterday, it's getting underbonish the way that these guys are racing.
It is, and it's a fantastic spectacle as Kritapat moves himself back up to the front of this group.
Levin Ardiansa, bike number 16, also in there. Yeah, where's Kritapat come from? He dropped down to P8. He's back up to the front again.
Yeah, I think he's started to get the measure of just how competitive and just how much quality there is in this AP250 field. Zem Iqbal at the front.
It's bike 124. And
39 is Kritapat, number 93, edging his way up. Fadila RB as we hit the halfway mark.
he whispers his way into position, RB, doesn't he? Fadila, bike number 93. We haven't spoken about him. Well, I've had to speak about him just to say he's not really showing, and then suddenly, bash, come midway point, he's in P2 right on the back wheel of the race leader.
It takes a lot of maturity in an underbone-like field like this one to just hang back, and to know when to make your move, be confident enough to make a judgment. And there he is. He might be making a move for the lead.
Well, he was temporarily in the lead.
Elbows with Irfan Ardiansia then.
That's your mate. Fisticuffs, gloves off. Irfan somehow finds himself in the middle of that pack, and Fadila, again, it just shows that the remarkable success. 3 wins in a row in a field as competitive and as tight as this. That is crazy. That is crazy. 12 inside a second, including Gao Jiang, but a problem.
Misfortune for
Fadil Al Ghassani for Yamaha Racing Indonesia, crashes out.
See the elbows there.
It's Fadila who's the aggressor.
Yeah.
Put your old race control hat on, Barry. Anything untoward there?
I don't think so. I was always a little bit more free flowing than some of my colleagues, many of whom are here today.
Galang Hendra, the new race leader. He went from P1 to P9, he's back up to P1. It is Underbone, Izam is there, Kritipat also, bike number 39, is hanging in there as well. Oh, Chao Vietnam!
Off onto the dirt and keeping it pinned and not losing really any noticeable ground from that error.
And he's come back, Chao Vietnam, bike 65. I was wondering whether or not he'd made the mistake, but he's got himself back in contact with that leading group, but that leading group is a big leading group.
Yeah, there goes Kritapat again, take the lead. RB has allowed himself just to drift back a little bit, and that was a difficult moment for him. Is he in trouble? He's got a little mountain to climb now. Frustration there as the Astra Honda team look on. He's got a 200 RPM rev cut, and he's now at the back of this very busy, very rapid group.
And he'll have an awful lot of work to do to get back there as well. Whether it was a mistake or was just eased out, but he certainly threw up a left arm in frustration. Where is bike number 93 towards the tail end of this group? Yeah, there he is, right at the back, and he lost a chunk of time, but he's still in this leading group. You do not mark him out of this race. He's still chasing 4 in a row, but he will have to come from a long way down, probably be 10 or 11 or 12 as they come over the line with 2 laps to go. Kritipat will lead the way. Galang Hendra will take a completely different line. 0.9 seconds between 1 and 8, less than 2 seconds between 1 and 12, which is Fadila. And even Daniel Shami and even Ayoshi Not 2 seconds beyond MP14 isn't out of things.
And a nice move into the lead as they went into turn 1 from the number 124 for Victor Racing, Izam Iqmal. Top job from Izam. Pick up where he is in relation to Kritipat. Well, Kritipat's got in front of him again.
Very often the camera crews, they have to deal with different groups of riders, or in seasons gone. Not this time, because you've got this whole chunk of 12, 13, 14 riders all within one camera shot. Kritipat leading the way, taking Izam Iqmal with him. Izam looking for back-to-back podiums. Is that Chao Vietnam who's got himself into P4 as Irfan goes wide onto the black stuff? Chao Vietnam is indeed up into P4. It's a good recovery from the Vietnamese.
It's good, and just hunting for the sight of the number 93, Padilla RV. Staying near the front all the way through has been Izam Iqmal. Algiers Axel, this has been a really good race for him, and Murabel Vitoni for LFN H Putra, the number 157, I beg your pardon there.
There's a genuine race going on between Murabel and Chao Vietnam, 65 and 157. And then Rich Nakahira's been dropped a little bit. He's in P8 for Dila. Still not being able to make much of an impact. He's going to have to make a move fairly soon, bike number 93. Otherwise, his perfect record is going to come to an end. It's Thailand's Kritipat Kenkum from Yamaha Thai Racing who is leading the way from Galang Hendra. And the hard-working Izam Iqmal. Chao Vietnam looks on the inside. There will be one lap to go. And we are going to, this 15th corner is going to be so important at the end of the next lap.
Yeah, Padilla made up a few places then as they start this final lap. Kritipat leads them across the line once again. And the ever-present, it seems, Izam Iqmal.
Good call.
Goes round the outside.
Izam Iqmal on the Yamaha YZF-R3. Ridden very smoothly. He's a very accommodating character, and these three look to have made a bit of a breakaway from the rest, and this is not looking good for Adila Arbi. Fadila, 3 wins out of 3, can't really make an impression. Galand Hendra looks on the inside, doesn't work because Izam closed him down. It's still Kritipat Kenkum who leads the way for Yamaha Thailand Racing Team.
3 Yamahas at the front making this break, and there's visible gap there back to, that could be Chao Vietnam.
Indeed, I think
yes,
you were
it
saying
is.
Making the break, and also in there is Rich Takahira, but it is the Yamahas. Tense is wrong, making the break is wrong. It's they've made the break, it's past tense, and they've made themselves quite a distance. So Yamaha looking for a 1-2-3. Galang Hendra in P3, behind Izam in P2, but it's Kritipat who's been there right from the very start. He got to the first corner first, having come from P5, and here he's leading into the final half lap of this race.
Well, he's been much hyped, and this is his chance to show whether the hype is worth it. And just at this point, it looks like he is getting a gap.
Well, there's
on Galang Hendra and Izam just behind him.
There's not going to be much of a drag for the racers behind him. This is impressive from Kritipat. This is a race that is good enough to end Fadila Arbi's 3 wins in a row. Fadila is not going to make it 4 in a row. But are we going to see Kritipat Kenkum with his maiden win in the ARRC? It's his race to lose. Just keep it nice and tight. Izam looks on the inside, but Kritipat does this one nicely, holds the line perfectly, and Kritipat Kenkum is going to come through for Yamaha Thailand Racing Team. Bike 39 takes the victory ahead of Izam Iqmal, a second podium, and Galang Hendra in P3. Yamaha 1-2-3.
There we are. There was a time when we got used to Hondas dominating the podium, and now we see what all the hyperbole has been about.